Welcome back to Chat 62, the podcast created by veterans for veterans. I'm your host, the Terminal Lance Corporal, the introverted interviewer, Eric Monarca. Before we get started, if you want to stay connected with us, make sure to follow us on Instagram at Chat62Podcasts. If you have any questions, want to share your stories, or are interested in being a guest on the show, you can reach out to us via email at monarca@chat62podcast.com or hit up Martin Almanza at chat62podcast.com. We would love to hear from you. Now on to today's guest. We have a special one, our first Marine on the show who's actually senior to me. He served at the 62 area with 3rd Battalion, 5th Marines, and he is a PAC OG just like me. Joining us today is Corporal Henry Rodriguez. We are going to dive into his life experiences, his time in the Corps, and how his journey helped shape him. So buckle up because this is going to be a good one. Corporal Henry Rodriguez, welcome to Chat 62.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Appreciate you being on and being a guest in season 2. I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to right off the bat, dude, I'm going to throw off the Marine Corps quiz at you. Are you ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
Now I'm going to give you a sample question and along with 3 questions after that. Let me know if you are down.
All right, let's do it.
So I'm going to throw you an easy one, easy sample question. What does NCO stand for?
Non-commissioned officer.
Yes, sir. In the Marines, only 2 ranks fall under this category, Corporal and Sergeant. Before Corporal, you are a non-rated Marine. After Sergeant, you become a Staff Non-Commissioned Officer or Staff NCO or SNCO. On to the regular questions. Number 1, not including the Navy Corpsmen, how many Marines raised the second and most famous flag atop Mount Suribachi on Iwo Jima in World War II?
Oh, man. This is not like multiple choice here? Okay. I'm just going to take a guess. I'll take a guess. I think it was 7.
Close. There were 5.
5? Okay.
There were 2 flag raisings at Mount Suribachi. The first flag was too small and could not be seen around the island. So 5 Marines and 1 Corpsman raised the flag a second time, and the photograph of which quickly became the most famous photo of World War II. All right, number 2. My CO instructed me to recite my general orders. How many general orders did I have to recite? A, 7, B, 19, C, 11, or D, 3?
11.
You're right. The Marine Corps requires every Marine to know all 11 general orders, and as they are fundamental orders every Marine must follow without instruction while posted as a sentry on duty. By chance, do you remember any of them?
No. I remember the 12th one, though.
Please share that one with me.
So it's to walk my post from flank to flank without taking shit from any rank.
There you go. I was like, oh yeah, he's right on it. He's right on it. All right. Number 3. I am the only Marine to win 5 Navy Crosses. Who am I? And this is not a multiple choice, so.
Chesty Puller.
Yes, sir. You are correct. Chesty Puller is the most decorated and most revered Marine in the Marine Corps history. He went on to serve 37 years in our Corps and achieved the rank of Lieutenant General, 3 stars. You got 2 out of 3. And with the sample question, I guess you got 3 out of 3. So cool, man. Right on.
I did better than I thought.
Hey, dude, you did better than me. I think I got like 1 out of 3. Almanza was throwing some curveballs at me. Sorry he wasn't able to make it today. He's been really busy. Yeah, he's kind of like he's like the Boyle Heights Sasquatch. And you'd be lucky if you can fight him and you track him down or get him on film or something. So it is what it is. Hopefully, if we do go into another call or another session, hopefully he'll be able to make it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So yeah, dude, we've kept in touch over the past few years, usually on Facebook, and I know we have a common love of certain things like Robotech and Transformers.
Oh, definitely. I love it.
Like all my stuff right there.
Up on that. I know, that's cool. I'm looking at that. That's dope.
Thanks, man. I started collecting around COVID. Like as soon as like the pandemic started, I'm like, dude, I need something to do. And I just I don't know. I just clicked on a couple of things. You know how the algorithm is, and big bad toy stores started coming up. Like, shoot, okay, click, click, click. And yeah, I've slowly had to slow it down. Like, okay, I'm gonna stop buying as many. But man, they just keep coming up with some good ones. So
yeah, have you seen that Optimus Prime that you can just tell it to transform. It's like huge. I think it's dope.
Oh
I think
yeah,
like a couple
man.
$1,000.
Yes, they have Optimus Prime. They got a
Grimlock. Yeah, those are dope.
yeah. That's at least like 5 grand for all three of them right there.
Yeah, no, I don't have that kind of money.
I'm pretty sure my wife would divorce me. Who was Henry Rodriguez before the Corps?
Believe it or not, I grew up in Oceanside, pretty much next to Camp Pendleton.
Really?
And I have some like early childhood memories of going to Camp Pendleton. It was funny because I don't have it with me, but my mom has it. There's a one of our neighbors used to be a Marine, and he gave me a cover, and I would wear that Marine Corps cover like wherever I would go when I was little. Like it's kind of like I guess it just planted the seed for me, you know. So then like my mom had the picture of me like wearing the cover, and I would just wear it everywhere, you know.
I would love to see that picture.
Yeah, I'd have to find. I have to go to my mom's and dig it up. But you know, like I think that kind of like planted the seed for me a little bit, you know, because my parents would go out there and talk to him. He'd be out in his camis. He'd come home in his cami, then I'd be out there playing, and you know, I'd see him in his uniform. And one day he just like gave me a cover. You know, here you go, and I would wear that thing everywhere. I went. Obviously, we grew up in Oceanside for a little while before we moved to LA. The elementary school, it was for Christmas. They took us on base where the tracks are. I was like in kindergarten. So they paired us up with a Marine, probably like a PFC or Lance Corporal or something.
Mm.
And then they took us to the chow hall. They're like, yeah, get whatever you want. And I remember just getting like cake or whatever. And we were in the chow hall eating. And then they took us out to the parade deck. And then the track, they had a ship out in the ocean. And then one of the tracks came out from the ship, and it was Santa Claus inside.
Oh, cool.
And yeah, so then Santa Claus came out. He went up on stage, and all the little kids got to go up and sit on Santa's lap. And then he would give you a toy. He gave me a truck. And then,
That's a really cool memory.
yeah, so then, you know, so that's just kind of like my early, like, Marine memories right there, you know. And I think it probably, like, kind of planted a seed unknowingly,
Mhm.
you know. So that, yeah, I remember that. But then after that, after Oceanside, my parents, we moved up to LA. And then, you know, we lived in Lenox for like a year. And then my parents moved over to Norwalk and bought a house in Norwalk. And pretty much that's where I grew up, in Norwalk.
Okay.
Went to school in Norwalk, junior high, high school. And that's where I enlisted too, into the Marine Corps from the Norwalk recruiting office.
When you were in Oceanside, how long were you in Oceanside for?
We were there probably, those are my earliest childhood memories. So we were probably, so I started probably, I think we were there for like 5 years, but I went to kindergarten there and I started first grade there. And I went to preschool there too. So preschool, kinder, and first grade. And then we moved over to Lenox, to LA.
I have an aunt that used to live out in Lenox. That for me, when I was a kid, it felt like it was like the farthest away from El Monte.
Right.
It felt like forever to get there. It felt like a day trip sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, we lived out there because my grandparents lived in Culver City.
Okay.
So why they chose Lenox, I don't know. My parents probably just like, hey, it's a good spot or whatever. But you know, so yeah. So me and my older brother would walk to school. He's like 2 years older than me, so he would walk me to school. He was in elementary school too, so me and him would walk a couple blocks down the street to go to school.
What was it like in Lenox? Like growing up in Lenox?
It was cool. You know, there's a lot of kind of gangs in that time. You
Mm-hmm.
know, mid '80s, around like 84, 85, 86 there. So my parents would always just kind of, all right, stay close. We actually lived like half a block from a park, but they wouldn't let us go because all the gang members would hang out at the park. So my parents were like, no, you guys stay on the driveway.
How long did you live in Lenox for?
We lived there for a year.
Oh, okay.
I remember the first night we lived there, it was by LAX.
Oh, yeah.
And like we could hear all night the planes just landing, you know, taking off and landing. And it was like, I was supposed to sleep like this, but you get used to it, you know?
I grew up in El Monte, and we had the airport, the San Gabriel Valley Airport. That's what they renamed it. And even it's just the small planes, man, they're just going all night. Or they have like the private jets that stop there to refuel. You're just hearing it all night. And it sometimes just throws you off, especially like those little jets. So I can't even imagine like a commercial plane or a
Right.
passenger plane just freaking going over. Like, oh my God.
Yeah, after a while, you're like, oh, you get immune to it. You're tired. It's like the Marine Corps. You sleep anywhere in the Marine Corps.
With regards to childhood influences, did you have any family members in the military?
No, I was the first one like to serve, and like that from my mom or my dad's side. Nobody had ever served in any type of armed forces or anything like that. So everybody was shocked when I was like, oh, I'm joining the Marine Corps. They're like, what? Like, you're not going to school, you're not college? But it's like, you know, it is what it is. It worked out.
Yeah, that leads me into my next question. I think we already kind of answered that one about what motivated you to enlist, and it was probably your experiences in Oceanside, correct?
I didn't think about that till, you sent me that questionnaire and I was like, what motivated me? And I knew I wanted to go to school, but I didn't have the money. We weren't rich or anything like that. I had gotten accepted to UCLA, Cal State Long Beach, Cal State Fullerton, everywhere I accept. My grades were pretty good. Everywhere I applied, I accepted. I started looking at the tuition rates. I'm like, how am I going to pay for this?
Yeah.
I was working part time at the time, and I was like, I don't even know how I'm going to pay for that. But I was like, then one of my friends said he's going. Like the recruiter came into the school. That's when they allowed him to go into the schools.
Mhm.
And then the recruiter came in one day and he hooked my friend first. And then
Hook, line, and sinker.
yeah, so then he's like, I'm going. I'm gonna do it. And then he signed up. And then I was like, okay, you know what? Let me look into this. I started looking into him. I started talking to the recruiter, and then we kind of like, all right, like, fuck it, I'm gonna do it too. So then there ended up being four of us that were gonna go in on the buddy program. From high school, we're close friends, but one of them jumped ship on us. He left early, but that's a different story.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say that he totally like just dropped out and said, you know what, I changed my
Nah,
mind.
bro, but he became a lifer though. He did 20 years. That
Really?
dude that, but so the recruiter like hit him up, I guess, hey, because we graduated and I think we had like about like 2 or 3 weeks or something like that before we were leaving to boot camp, and like the recruiter was like, hey, I got an opening. If you guys want to leave now, like you got to leave tomorrow though.
Ooh.
And he was like, I'll take it. And we had just like the thing like graduated high school like the week before or something. And like one of the guys was like, I'll do it. I'll go. And he left. He's like, but you're not gonna go on the buddy program though. Like, yeah, I don't care. And he left.
Wow.
But yeah, he became a lifer.
You think he was just he just wanted to just get it? He just wanted to just dive in and just say, you know what, let's just get this out of the way.
Oh yeah, he was that was the way he was. He was like he'll just jump head first without thinking. But
But shit, he made a career out of it. That's
yeah.
freaking awesome, dude. When did you enlist?
When did I enlist? I enlisted my senior year of high school. So, and I was 18 already, and then because my birthday was in February, so by the time I enlisted, I already had my parents' signature. Two of my friends needed their signature,
Mm-hmm.
so their parents signed off on it. But I was already 18, so I could just go in and sign for myself. So
And going back to your parents' reaction, how did they take it? First of all, I'm sorry. Was there a particular setting or anything like did you decide to, okay, this day's perfect. I'm gonna drop the bomb right now.
I think I had told them, and I think the recruiter came over, if I'm not mistaken. It's been so many years, I can't. The recruiter came over and kind of talked to him. But my parents, they didn't really know English. So, but I tried to translate as best as I could. And he was like, oh, this is the opportunity they could give him. And my parents afterward, they tried to talk me out of it. They were like, no, just go to school, this and that. I don't know. I just kind of, I don't know. It was kind of like, I'm going to do it, one of
Yeah.
those type of things. And I think the more they try to talk me out of it, the more I wanted to do it.
It's kind of like being like in that rebellious stage.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No matter what you tell
But,
me I'm gonna do the exact opposite.
and then my friends were like, I think my friends too were like, no, you can't back out on us now. I thought we're all going to do it. You got to do it too. So I think it was, and in boot camp, well, I don't know, maybe I'm getting ahead of myself, but like being on the buddy program helped me a lot because I was like, well, if they can do it, I can do it. You know what I mean?
How long were you in the pulley program for?
Probably like roughly probably like less than a year, maybe 8 months, 9 months, something like that.
And how was that program? And how was it for you? Did you attend all the pulley functions and
I did because I wanted to like learn or experience or get myself ready for what to expect in boot camp. So I was like, I can't, I probably missed one or two, but because of something but I wanted to experience there because they would give us good knowledge when we went there, and be like, hey, you can expect this, or you're going to be doing stuff like this. They would make us do like a PFT, pull ups, sit ups, running. We actually got to go to the gas chamber at El Toro Air Force Base before they closed it down. In the pulley program, they gassed
what?
us. Fuckers gassed us,
Oh my
and they
God.
were laughing. They were laughing, but we got to go to the gas chamber at the pulley.
How many of you went in the gas chamber at that time?
Bro, all the pulleys,
Oh no.
everybody. Like they
Fuck.
threw all the pulleys, and they were cracking up because we had like crying and snot, and bro, they were like laugh. All the recruiters were laughing at us
Oh my
and
God.
like taking pictures. There's a picture. There's probably pictures from the recruiters somewhere out there of them like laughing and taking pictures of us coming out of the gas chamber. It's hilarious.
Oh my
But I
God.
knew what to expect.
Yeah.
Something like that was like priceless because when I went to the gas chamber, I knew exactly what was going to come and what to expect, and I didn't panic. Bro, there was in boot camp, this guy panicked and tried to run out of the gas chamber and knocked over a drill instructor, and they ate him alive. And he went back, like, he had to go back into the gas chamber and start from scratch all over again when he was almost finished, but he panicked and he ran out.
Oh shit. And and when you did the gas chamber as a pulley, did they even give you a gas mask to don or any? Did they give you?
No,
No. Okay.
no, that's what I'm saying. The fuckers just threw us into
Oh my God.
like this fire, bro. They're just like, all right, get in there. But we were in there, it wasn't the full experience like boot camp. We were in there for like a minute.
Okay.
They're like, all right, go in there, hold your breath. And then they go in there and then stand against the wall. And then they're like, all right, now tell us, like, they would ask us the question, where are you from? Or like, tell us your name, tell us the ABCs or something. And then you start talking and then like you start coughing. But yeah, they didn't give us fucking gas masks. They're like, they don't want to waste gas mask on us.
Yeah, because they were gonna have to clean it afterwards. So
Yeah.
it's more work for
So
them.
then, yeah. So then they just threw us in there. And then after we got out, they had the hoses and the buckets with water and sponges.
Oh my God.
But yeah, that was an experience.
Yeah, dude. Definitely an invaluable experience. As you were getting closer to that ship out date, because you shipped out in what, September, right?
Yeah, September.
What was going through your head at the time as you were nearing that ship out date?
Bro, it was nerve wracking, man. I don't know how it was for you, but for me, I was like, oh man, did I make the right decision? You start to second guess yourself.
Yeah.
You're like, you're like, maybe school ain't so bad. Maybe
Maybe,
going to school first.
yeah, maybe I could work at McDonald's and help pay for that tuition. Yeah, there
Yeah.
you start thinking about the alternatives and then you start thinking about the what ifs.
Yeah.
And are you gonna live with that, right?
Yeah. Then you're like, well, yeah, maybe I shouldn't go. Maybe I can wait another month. Maybe I should ask to like, wait another, maybe go, no, what's the rush?
Yeah.
But I'm glad I didn't. But it worked out. Like I said, having my two buddies with me, they were like, "Nah, we're going. Let's just get it done with. Let's go over." And they're like, "All right," it just kind of reinforced my
Yeah.
decision and like, "All right," kind of like, "Okay, well, if you're saying let's get it done, let's just get it done and
Yeah.
let's go."
When you went to MEPS to do the whole MEPS experience, did your two buddies go with you too?
They did, yeah.
Okay.
So my recruiter took us, all of us, like we all did the whole maps thing together. We pretty much did everything together, the whole process. And my recruiter, like, I know some people have bad experiences with the recruiters. My recruiter was like upfront with us the whole time. Like he was like told us how it was gonna be. I don't feel like he like gave us wrong info or anything. Like he was like straight up with us the whole time. Like everything he said he was gonna do, he did it. The way he explained the Marine Corps is gonna be, like he told us, hey, once you go to boot camp, you go to your school. once you get into the fleet and you start doing your regular job, it's gonna be like a normal job.
Mhm.
You know, obviously you're gonna have to PT, do all that stuff, but you know, it's just gonna be like a normal job. You know, you can be able to come. You know, well, depending where you're stationed, you're gonna go out see your family or whatever stuff like take vacation.
Yeah.
So you know, my recruiter was like straight up with us. You know,
Well, that's good. He was a wealth of knowledge, and he passed that to you. I mean, there's my experience was a complete opposite. You know, I just got a really broad overview, and okay, go fucking enjoy.
yeah, you
There's
know, and then he, you know, total recruiter. We went in there and it's like in the pooling meetings on Saturdays, you know, he put on. I think The Rock had just come out. You know, look, the Marines right here took out the Navy SEALs. You're doing the right thing, going to the Marines. You know, he sold it too. You know, I'm not gonna lie, he sold it a little bit too.
yeah,
You know, and he hyped it up, and then we got to see like Full Metal Jacket, and he would put like Heartbreak Ridge and all the Marine Corps movies. You
that's my
know,
favorite
from
movie.
back then.
Yeah,
Yeah, you know, but it was fun. The pulley functions were fun too. You know, we'd go out there to a high school or a track or something, and we'd start running, and you know, he'd
yeah,
kind of like start yelling at us like drill instructors. Well, the best drill instructor impersonation, you know.
yeah.
But and then so like he was up front, he was cool. I feel like you know he didn't try to like lead us in the gave us bad info or anything like that. So
That's good.
and so he told us since there was four of us, they were like, hey, look, if you sign up this person, I'm gonna put in the contract that you signed up this person. So he goes, you need two people to get PFC. He goes, so I'm gonna give you this person. You recruited this guy, and then he did like a circle, okay? And then
Yeah,
he goes, and then I'm gonna recruit somebody else on my own, and I'm gonna say you recruited them for me, and then you're gonna get PFC right out of boot camp. You're gonna be PFC in boot camp.
huh.
So
Wow.
like, so he was like, you recruited him, and then he goes, and then I'm gonna give you one of my people that I recruited, and say you recruited him, but you gave me the info. So he said you needed two people to pick up PFC. So we all picked up PFC because like he said I recruited my friend recruited my other friend, and then that friend recruited the other friend, and then the recruiter, you know, someone we didn't know said that we recruited them, and then we all picked up PFC right out of well, we went in as PFCs.
Wow. That was a
So
nice little chain of events. Like it was almost like a I don't want to say it was like a some kind of like business circle, almost like a I don't want to say it was like kind
yeah,
of like a Ponzi scheme, but it wasn't a Ponzi scheme either. So or a pyramid
yeah,
or nothing like that. But no, that's cool that he hooked you guys up like that.
yeah, yeah. So he did, and then like so we took the advab. We all scored pretty high, so we all had like he was like, well, you know, I'm going to be honest with you. We have this job, these jobs right here. You all of you qualify for them. My friend, the one that wanted to jump in head first, oh, he goes, oh, we have a like Amtracker. She started going through the jobs, and he got to the Amtraks, and he's like, oh, I want to do that. I want to work with the tanks. So he became a tracker, and then he goes, oh, we have like a crew chief to be like a. It wasn't an airplane mechanic, but to be like a to work on the helos on the crew chief. Like, oh, that sounds pretty fun. And then he goes, I have a O1. It's like the O1 to be the personnel clerks or whatever. And then he was like, and then one of my other friends, he went to IT back then. He scored really high in his advance. He goes, oh, we have this IT position, but it's a 5-year contract.
Mhm.
And then he was like, he goes, your schooling is like a year long, or like 5 years. I don't know. And then he's like, well, I'll do it. My other friend did it. He ended up doing it. It's good because it helped him out. He got a job afterwards. He had all kinds of certifications. Looking back, I was like, I wish I would have done that one, but
Yeah,
you know, but it works out.
yeah, it did. So what motivated you to? So I know they give you three choices ad maps. So one of them obviously was
The O1,
what were your two other choices?
I think it was the same one that my friend got. So my other friend ended up becoming the helicopter crewman,
Mhm.
and I think that was one of my other choices. And I don't remember what the third one was. I think both of us signed up for O1 and the helicopter crewman, me and my other buddy. and he ended up getting the helicopter one, and then I got the O1, and then he ended up going to Florida for school, and then getting stationed at Camp Pendleton too. So
At the same time you were.
yes,
Okay. So were you happy with the admin, the O1 choice?
I was. Yeah, you know, I know some. You know, I've heard your podcast, and some people had like bad experiences as they go through their schools and boot camp. Bro, mine like flowed like perfectly, just the way it was. Like
It was textbook.
it was, yeah, I wouldn't say textbook, but you know, we had a couple little bumps here and there. But like, man, like the way the holidays and like coming back to Cali and going to North Carolina, like everything just worked out for me like perfectly. I don't know if you want me to like.
No, yeah, let's go ahead and we can talk about boot camp. Okay,
So
so you went through your MEPS experience, and tell me your thoughts about taking. I assume, and I don't want to assume. I probably shouldn't because I assumed once, and some dude take a fucking plane from LAX to fucking San Diego. Um, did you take a bus down to San Diego?
I did, yeah.
Okay.
So my recruiter picked us up, and you know, the day I left, you know, obviously my mom was sad. She cried, kind of, you know, but you know, it's like, well, I gotta go, you know. So my recruiter picked us up, and then we went to the hotel in LA. They put us up at the Bonaventure. Yeah. So, but it was, you know, me and my three buddies. We all went together, and we're at the Bonaventure. And they were like, okay, well, you know, you can't go out, don't drink, you know, you can't go out and do all this. So, but we went to the room, we were talking, watching TV, just BSing while we were waiting. You know, next morning we got up, they came and got us, and we went to MEPS. They do the whole processing thing again. And then, yeah, they're like, we drove down, they're like, all right, get on the bus, you guys ready to go? You know, the separator and all the branches. All right, let me get all the Marines over here, all the Navy guys over here, all the Air Force guys over here. And all the Marines jumped on the bus that were from LA, and they drove us down to, well, we stopped at the Denny's for that steak.
And then San Clemente.
Yeah, or San Clemente, yeah. We stopped, got our dinner, and then yeah, they drove us in. But it's cool because the bus driver, right before she stopped, right before the gates, right off, like she pulled over and she goes, "All right, you guys about to enter boot camp. It's gonna be, you know, 3 months. Do you guys want to stop and say a prayer?" And we're like, "Yeah, everybody, let's, you know." So we all agreed, and she stopped for like 5 minutes, and she like blessed us all. She was like, "Oh, it was a older lady," and she, you know, she said a prayer for all of us, and like, you know, that was pretty cool. And then she
Yeah.
got back in, and then she went in, and then that's when the fun started.
Yeah, that's how I got the chills just thinking about that lady giving that blessing to you guys.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't think I've heard of that.
yeah. So yeah, that was cool of her. She stopped. She pulled over, like, you know, on the shoulder, right on the exit to
Mm-hmm.
enter MCRD. Right off the. It's not the. Is it the five? It is a five,
Gas
right?
5, yeah.
So she pulled over right on the shoulder, and then, you know, she goes, "Oh, you know, do you guys want to say a prayer?" And you know, before we enter, yeah, we all agreed. And she blessed us all. She's like, "All right, take," you know, she said the prayer. She's like, "All right." She's like, "All right, get ready, guys." And then she pulled us in, and yeah, drill instructor jumped on the bus, and it was all hell from there.
So what was your experiences as soon as they just started sounding off on you and telling you to get off the bus?
Well, see, that it goes back to my recruiter. My recruiter had told us exactly how it was gonna go. You know, you're gonna get to MCRD. He's gonna jump on the bus. He's gonna yell at everybody. It's gonna be all chaos. And like I said, he prepared us. Like he was like, all right, this is what you're gonna do. And then he would tell us, like, you know, boot camp is all mental. You know, like, you know, some people might have a little bit harder physical time, but if you put in the work, it's just all mental. They want to break you. Don't let them break you. Don't give them that satisfaction. You know.
So what was the boot camp experience like for you? Were there you had mentioned there were a couple bumps in the road.
Yeah, you know, I think I rolled my ankle once, and
Oh,
but I didn't want to say nothing. I just worked through it. And when I say bumps, they were like minor bumps. Like, but physically, boot camp was not hard for me. Be well, back then. I went into boot camp like weighing like a buck 30. Like I was skinny back then.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and I came out of boot camp like 150. So I gained like 20 pounds while in boot camp.
Dang, dude. It
Yeah.
was 20 pound of muscle.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
Shit.
believe it or not, that's probably like the best, shape I was in a long time.
Wow.
But like I said, boot camp physically for me, even mentally, wasn't hard. It's like all the schooling because, I was pretty good at, I read a lot of books and stuff like that. So reading all the knowledge and remembering all that wasn't hard for me. Obviously sometimes the physical part or getting smoked on the quarter deck or
Yeah.
in the pits. It's not fun. Well, looking back on it, like, fuck, I need that now.
It's funny because like towards the end of it,
You get used to it.
yeah,
Like your body
and
gets
you would kind of
conditioned
do it
to
on
it.
purpose to get on the quarter deck. You would say something just to fuck with just to get fucked with.
Yeah,
Like, okay, hey man, I can get my push-ups out and my flutter kicks.
yeah, yeah, exactly. You do your flutter kicks but it's funny because toward, like you said, your body gets conditioned already. The first month is probably the hardest to adjust. Then the second month, you're like, all right, I think I can get this done. But like I said, having my two buddies in the same platoon with me, really helped because there was days, there, even now, there's days you're like, oh, I don't want to do this shit, like,
Yeah,
oh, you're just not feeling it that day, but you got to push through it.
yeah.
But having them there, both of them was like, okay, well, if they can do it, I can do it, you know.
And since you went in September, so did you experience the Crucible?
No, so I was two platoons before the Crucible. Even
Really?
our drill instructor was like, "You motherfuckers got lucky. You don't have to do the Crucible." He goes, you guys are one of the last two platoons to not do the Crucible.
Wow. So what was the? I guess we could jump forward to the end. What was that last week or the last 2 weeks like then? If you guys didn't have a Crucible?
So the last 2 weeks, it was just kind of like I think we had mess week, or that was mess week was right before right because I know it's all different now. So for me, it was we trained at MCRD for a month.
Mm-hmm.
We drilled. They got us all ready, physically. We were like doing a lot of running, try to get your body ready. And then the second month, we went to Camp Pendleton
Mm-hmm.
to quad for the rifles. You know, we did all the hikes, we did all the, combat stuff. And then we came back the third month. And then right when we came back, we were able to, we did the mess week and then we just kind of just prepared. They did all our final tests. I think we were just pretty much getting ready to leave because we cleaned our rifles. They're like, all right, clean your rifles, not gonna shoot them anymore. Make sure, deeply clean them. We cleaned our squad bay good. Um, and they were just testing us. We did the final drill, final inspections, getting our uniforms ready, all that stuff. That's all we did.
That seemed more structured than what it was because when I went in, I was November '96, and I think it was like 7 weeks at MCRD San Diego, 4 weeks out in Camp Edson and Camp Pendleton, and then that final week you come back to MCRD. But your guys have seemed more structured.
Yeah, it was pretty structured. It was like it was smooth. I think you guys were something new. That's why I think they were just rolling it out. So
Yeah,
yeah, like I said, my boot camp was pretty normal, I guess, for us. But yeah, we didn't do the crucible. We were like we just lucked out when we were getting ready to graduate. One of my like we were running around and one of my drill instructors was like, "Hey, you." He's pointing at me. He goes, "Come here." He goes, "Did we pick you up?" He goes, "How long have you been in the platoon?" And I go, "Drill instructor, I've been here since day one." He goes, "What?" He goes, "You've been here since we picked up this platoon." He goes, yes, Staff Sergeant." He goes, "No." He goes, "Were you a retread? Did we pick you up along the way?" I go, "No, Staff Sergeant. I'm on the buddy program with my friends." He goes, "What the fuck?"
oh shit.
He goes, "Yeah, that was my mentality my whole way through boot camp was do what you have to do, don't make mistakes, don't stand out. People wanted to be squad leaders, they wanted to be the guide. That wasn't me. I'm like, I'm just gonna do what I gotta do.
Yeah.
Don't make mistakes, pass everything, and then get on my way. And it worked because he was like, "What the fuck?" He's like, "You've been here the whole time?" And then we graduated the week before Thanksgiving. So I was on boot leave during Thanksgiving. That's what I'm saying. Like mine just kind of worked out where I was, and like so I went to boot leave the week before Thanksgiving, and I was home for Thanksgiving that year.
What was going through your head during graduation?
You know, well, I was happy. I
Yeah.
was proud, and but it sucked because it rained, so we didn't get the actual
Oh,
graduation outside. We had it in the auditorium.
okay. Oh man.
Yeah, so I missed that experience. That was one of the bumps in the road. I wish my family could have seen us, drilling and marching on the parade deck, but we missed that experience. It was raining, so they put it inside. So I think now even if it rains, they still go outside, right?
I don't know. You know what? Actually, when I went to MCRD back in May of 22, and it rained the night before, and it rained the morning of. So yeah, so I think they do graduation in the rain now.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that was kind of one of the bumps in the road. But still, I was happy. I was proud that I completed it. Our families were there. My parents went.
Hmm.
They went for visitors Thursday and then the graduation. But yeah, you feel that pride and joy for completing it.
And were you home for 10 days?
I was home for 10 days, and then on top of that, my recruiter got us another 10 days of recruiter's assistance.
Oh, nice.
So I was home for 20 days, and then we went to Camp Pendleton to check in for MCT. So yeah, this was probably around December timeframe. I was on MCT in December, so it's not too bad. It's kind of cold, but
Yeah.
you work through it.
During leave, were you up to any shenanigans, or was this just catching up, hanging out?
Yeah, just catching up and hanging out. Me and my two buddies would just hang out. We had cars back then, so we would just go to each other's house, kick back, go to the mall. Our recruiter, that's what he wanted. He goes, "Hey, just for recruiter assistance," he was like, "Hey, just go to the mall, hand out these flyers to people,
Yeah.
go check out the girls and stuff like that in your uniform." He goes, "Make sure you're in your uniform."
Of course.
And then he would take us to the schools, to the high schools in our unit. He goes, "All right, we're going to go see high schools tomorrow. Make sure you wear your uniform. Make sure it's fucking, you know, you know, all up to par, and make sure it looks nice, and make sure you guys look good, haircuts, everything."
Yeah.
And we would go to the high schools, and then all the kids were like, "Oh, how was boot camp?" And he was like, but he would tell us like, try not to scare them too much.
Yeah. Like they got this new thing. It's called the Crucible. Oh, that's gonna change everything. No.
Yeah, but he was like, yeah, just tell them, the good stories, tell them how. But yeah, no, it was cool. We would go to the high schools, talk to the high school kids that were thinking about joining or on the fence about joining.
And did you end up recruiting anybody?
I don't think so. No,
It was.
we were just kind of,
It's all about the good time, right?
yeah, let the recruiter do his job. Let him recruit.
Yeah. Exactly.
Well, we
Exactly.
answered the kids' questions, all the high school kids. We answered their questions and stuff like that. Yeah, he would bring us in like, "Oh, look at these guys right here, just graduated boot camp 2 weeks ago. Look how squared away they are." And then we'd be like, "Oh yeah, boot camp is not it's not as hard as they make it out. You can do it. Stuff like that."
Your 20 days of leave are over. What's going through your head as you're ready to go back into the field at MCT?
We were ready. I was like, okay, the only thing it had been raining a lot during those 2 weeks, and my recruiter was like, "Oh, it's gonna suck when you guys doing MCT. Probably gonna be all muddy and shit like that."
Yeah.
But we were like, luckily, it stopped raining when we went to MCT. We went to MCT, and I think we were in waiting or like processing for like a week before we got picked up to our class. But luckily, and this was around December timeframe, and then so we started MCT, and then Christmas hits, you know, and then so the instructor was like, "All right, does it who lives close by, like within an hour of Camp Pendleton?"
Uh,
A couple guys raised our hand, and so we raised our hand. They're like, "All right," he goes, because we couldn't have cars at MCT.
right.
I couldn't just drive up and be like, "All right, I'm going to home."
Yeah.
So he goes, "Do you guys have do you got someone that can pick you guys up?" We're like, "Yeah." Yeah, everybody's like, "Yeah, we have somebody, whatever, whoever the other family member or friend or whatever."
Mhm.
He goes, "All right, you guys can go home for Christmas." So we ended up going home for Christmas and New Year's
Wow.
because they kind of paused for Christmas.
Yeah.
Our instructor was like, "All right, you guys can go home for Christmas, but you guys have to be back." I forgot what day it was, but let's just say Friday. He goes, "You guys need to be back by like Sunday, and like you have to be here checked in, because we're gonna start training again like Sunday at 06. So you have to be here in your bed and ready to go." And then he goes, "Come and see me, and I need a phone number from you, where
Mm.
you're gonna be at, an address and a phone number." So okay, so we all we went up to him, gave him the contact info, and called my family, and I think my brother and my sister came pick me up from MCT, and I got to go home for Christmas and
Oh,
New Year's.
wow. Wow, that's so cool. I was in boot camp during Christmas and New Year's, so I didn't get a chance to do that.
Well, yeah, you can't do that.
I think my drill instructor threatened to fucking impale me with a fucking guidon right after Christmas mass. But no, that's cool, dude. At least you had that pause of and have some normality.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what I'm telling you, man. Like the way my it just worked out. Like it just went smooth, Kind of
Yeah,
like some dates. I missed some stuff here and there, obviously, but
yeah,
I did get to do a lot. Like, some of the guys that, were from probably like Texas or somewhere else. They're like, "Oh no, if you got to fly, you can't go.
yeah,
You got to be local."
yeah,
Some people were like, "Oh, maybe if I catch a flight, I can make it back before like 6 a.m. and be, they're like,
yeah,
"Don't do it. You can't go." If
yeah.
you got to fly somewhere, you're not going.
Yeah, it's too much of a risk. There's so many different
Variables.
possibilities. Yeah, there's so
Yeah.
many bad scenarios that can just go wrong, especially if there was like inclement weather. Yeah, you definitely want to take that chance, and that they'd probably get in trouble with the command and all that
Oh
stuff.
yeah, I think our instructor was like, if you're not here, you're gonna be UA, you're gonna get NJP'd, and we're gonna bust your ass. Try to
Yeah,
scare us
of
to
course.
try
Yeah,
to, you know. But yeah, I was back. He scared me. I was back.
you're like I will be there with fucking bells and whistles.
Yeah,
Shit,
exactly. I came back on time. I lived like an hour away, so it wasn't too far. So
that's cool. And how was the rest of the MCT experience for you?
it was good. MCT was chill. Like obviously not chill, but it was. I think boot camp was harder. But you go up the fucking hill, Mount Motherfucker, and all that shit, and you get it done, and that's it. And then you get your orders to go to your schooling.
Yeah. So when you already had the heads up that you were gonna end up at Camp Lejeune for school.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. They had already told us. All right, I think forgot when, but sometime during MCT, they're like, all right, I think we were cleaning weapons, and the instructor was like, all right, you guys. I think a couple of days before they wanted us to clean our weapons good. We were standing around. He started going through it. All right,
Hmm.
so and so, these people, you guys are going to North Carolina. You guys are going over here. You guys are going over here. He started telling us where we're gonna go, stuff like that. And I think the day of graduation is when we went to prep to like the orders, get our orders to finally go over there. So
And did your family go see you graduate from MCT?
they did, which was cool. And then they drove me to the airport. We went to go eat.
For San
We
Diego,
went
right?
to San Diego, and then yeah, that was it. And then I got to spend my birthday that year in North Carolina.
When you were at San Diego airport getting ready to fly out, was that your first time leaving the state?
No, we would go to Mexico, me and my parents, but Out of California, yeah, we'd go to Mexico. Probably Mexico was the only other place I'd been.
Okay.
But I had flown on the plane before. It wasn't my first time or anything like that.
You didn't have visions of fucking La Bamba going through your head or anything like that.
Nah, nah, yeah, no, that was good. But yeah, so that was probably the first time I'd been to another state in the United States.
Mhm.
Probably never been to like Arizona or Nevada, anything like that before that.
And when you touched down to North Carolina, what was that like?
It's kind of weird because you're used to seeing California, all the cities and the freeways, and you get to North Carolina and you just like trees forever, you
Yeah.
know?
And this is your first time without your buddies by your side.
Yeah. So yeah. So but there was another guy from MTT, I think. He was an O1 too. So me and him his name was Fernandez. So we were like, all right, he's from MCT. I kind of knew him, so we just kind of stuck together, me and him. But there was the other guys. We ran into some other guys at the airport. The bus came. It was like a little bus. It
Hmm.
wasn't even like a big bus or anything like that.
Yeah.
And he picked up all the guys going to Camp Johnson. He's like, all right. He had like a little roster. He was like, all right, so and so. He read it off. He was all right. We got everybody. Let's grab your gear, jump on the bus. But me and Fernandez, kind of stuck together because we knew each other from
Yeah.
MCT.
That's good that a bus was actually there and they knew when to pick you up and they had a roster and he just didn't like show up and say, "Okay, where'd I go?"
Yeah, no, yeah, there was somebody there, and then there was like I think like two or three other Marines. He goes, "Oh, there's someone else. Just hang around. Someone else will come pick you guys up." They were like, "I don't have you guys on my roster, so someone else will be here for you guys." So I don't know what happened if they did or not, but I got on my bus.
You got on your bus and you headed over to Camp Johnson in Camp Lejeune. I know sometimes there's a holding period,
Oh yeah,
and with Mac Company, were you lucky enough to experience that?
yeah, I got lucky experiences to go pick up trash and cut grass and all that good stuff.
How long were you with the working party platoon?
I think for like 3 weeks.
Oh shit, yeah, that's a long time.
Yeah, 2 to 3 weeks, something like that. So, but it's cool because you meet friends, you make friends there. They had like the kind of like boot camp, like an open squad bay
Yeah,
for the platoons that you before you get your regular quarters when you start school and stuff like that.
yeah,
But you start hanging out with people, and it's funny because we would get weekend libo.
hmm.
They'd be like, all right, the teacher or whatever in charge of us or whoever it was, the NCO that was in charge of the MAP platoon would be like, all right, you know, be back by Sunday at like 06 to make sure you're in ready for formation at 06 on Monday morning. So they would just kind of leave us, alone.
Yeah,
There'd be a duty right there. Like
yeah.
if you have any issues, just go to the duty and they'll contact somebody. But Matt Platoon was kind of chill. We're like, oh, this is kind of chill.
Yeah.
Obviously, during the day we'd go pick up trash or yeah, just doing like working parties. Party like a working party, right?
Uh, so, did they tell you on the weekends if you didn't want to get stuck with a weekend working party, you need to be the fuck out of here? Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
they did. They're like, they're
So they
like,
encouraged it.
yeah, if we catch you here and we need something done, you're gonna do it. So like you start meeting, you build camaraderie with other guys there, guys you're on a working party with or whatever. So then we would go out to the Sonics that was right up base,
Yeah.
or like we'd go to the McDonald's, or one of the guys ended up finding like this shitty ass Mexican restaurant in North Carolina, and he was like, "Let's go try it." It was horrible.
You like this ain't Mexican food.
Yeah,
This is
like
Taco
what
Bell
is this?
stuff, man.
Yeah, so, I think that we said that we're like Taco Bell is better. Like, what is this crap? You go to the Driftwood, shit like that. You got every Marine lived at the Jacksonville Mall, man.
They fucking knew it
But
too, and they're probably still functioning well and good, man. They're probably doing well business wise out there still because of Marines.
I remember one night my buddy was like, "Let's go get tattoos," and I don't have any tattoos. Okay, no Marine, not zero tattoos. But my friend was like, "Let's go get tattoos. Let's go get moto tattoos." We're like, "Fuck it, let's go." I think we had been drinking,
Uh,
and then so we went into this tattoo parlor, and the guy was like tattooing somebody. He was like, "Oh, come back like in." It was already late though. It was already like 10 or 11 o'clock at night, and the guy was like, "Come back like in an hour. I should be done with this guy, and then I can hook you guys up." And we asked him, "Well, how much for like a USMC tattoo?" Like, "Oh, like $75 or $100. I don't even
oh,
remember." But we're like, "All right." So then we're like, we were walking because that over there was a taxi or you're walking
right.
back, to,
Yeah.
and the taxis would line up. I don't know if you remember, they would line up on the road because on a Friday night, all the taxis would just fucking line up, and that's where they make their business.
Hell yeah.
So I think we walked over. There was a McDonald's. One of my buddies was like, I think it was like four or five of us. We walked over to McDonald's, had like a burger or something, and then a couple of them were like, "Fuck, we're tired, man. Let's just go back to the room and chill. We'll come back tomorrow." Tomorrow never came. We never went back.
You guys never got those tattoos.
One guy did go back. He showed up one day. He's like, "Look, I went back. I got a moto." He got a bulldog with the USMC underneath. I was
Was
like,
he?
"Oh
Was
shit."
it the one of the bulldog flexing the bicep?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. It was fucking traditional Marine Corps moto tattoo, bro.
Fucking moto. So you said you were in a mat company or mat platoon for about 3 weeks. So you finally start MOS school.
Yeah,
What was your MOS?
I was the 0121, so SRB clerk or personnel clerk, as they called it.
What was MOS school like?
It was good. I think back then they had these, well, new back then, but computers were just starting to be used. So I had actually, I was pretty actually good on computers because we did that in high school, so I
Mm,
already knew what to do. Some people were like, "The fuck is this? What do I do here?" They didn't know how to type, so
you're
you
like
see
this.
people like,
Oh shit! Hit the
yeah.
microphone.
So I already knew how to type, and so like for me it was easy.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I wasn't like number one in the class, but I don't think I always my going back to boot camp, my mentality was always don't stand out, just fit in. Yeah. So I was like, yeah. So my mentality was always don't be number one, but never be last because the last is always gonna get fucking smoke, haze, and all that.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I was like, okay, I just kind of like,
Just right under the radar.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, just right through the radar and slip through, do what I got to do, and move on. And
So you took that mentality into MOS school as well.
yeah, I think that was, and it worked for me. Like I was on like last. I would always pass all the tests, whatever they had us do,
Mhm.
everything. I wasn't the number one guy, but I was passing. I, you know,
You weren't one of the
but
bottom three either.
yeah, exactly. I wasn't never a risk to be like, oh, you're gonna have to go to the next class, or you're gonna have to. One guy, like, I think he was doing pretty bad. They're like, well, you might not even pass.
Oh
You might
shit.
have to like switch MOS or something like that. I think they were scaring them or something.
Yeah.
To try to like improve. But
Yeah. Oh shit. And during your time during MOS school, did you go on any other adventures at Camp Lejeune during that time?
no, we were kind of chill. Because nobody had a car. Everything was on a taxi. Just typical Marine with no car, PFC taxis. Probably go have a few drinks at one of the bars that would let you in because they would encourage you.
Yeah. Did you guys do barbecues over there outside, like on
We
the weekends and
did,
stuff, or during the week?
yeah, right. Because by the lake, behind the schooling, there was a lake.
Yeah.
I think every once in a while, I think once or twice, because nobody wanted to cook. We didn't have. you didn't have like all the utensils, plates, so
Yeah.
you're like, but yeah, it was cool.
That's,
It was, typical, nothing out of the ordinary. Like, it was like, just for me, it was normal. I didn't have any bad experiences through MOS school or anything like that. So
that's good. You're getting ready to pick duty stations. They let us pick duty stations, right? I'm having a senior moment. But they let us pick a couple of duty stations, like preferences, right?
I think you put preferences.
Ah, there you go.
And going back to my recruiter, where telling you that he hooked us up, is like my recruiter goes, "Oh, your job, I can guarantee you West Coast. Like, I'll put it in your contract." I'm like, "All right, that's cool." He goes, "So you can either end up in Camp Pendleton, Arizona, 29 Palms, or Hawaii." I'm like, "Well, if I end up in Hawaii, how bad is that? How
Yeah.
bad can that be?" And he goes, "The worst one out of all those is 29 Palms." He goes, "There's a risk you can end up in 29 Palms." But I was like, "Well, it's pretty close to home. If I end up in 29 Palms, I can just drive home,
Yeah.
like whatever." And that was the risk. Um, but I was like, "Okay, I'll do it." So he put it in my contract that I was guaranteed West Coast. And so he showed me too. He goes, "Look," like, I'm telling you, my recruiter was like honest with me. He goes, "Look, here in your contract it says guaranteed West Coast. If you don't end up in one of those duty stations, um, or I'm telling you, then call me." Gave me his card. I carry with me. He goes, "Call me, because the Marine Corps is voiding their contract. They're not honoring what they're saying they're going to do, and you can get out of the Marine Corps."
That was a nice little loophole right there.
Yeah, he goes, they're not honoring their part of the contract. You did your part. Now they got to do their part. So, like I said, my recruiter was like, I know some people have bad experiences, but he was like upfront with us and like cool with us.
That's good. I think the Corps needs more recruiters like that are
Right?
upfront and
Yeah.
honest. And yeah, all you have to do is just freaking stay on your IST, and you don't get in trouble, and you graduate through boot camp, and it's kind of like a tick for tack.
Yeah, exactly. And I think like once we got our orders, the day we got our orders, I think we were in the gym,
Mhm.
and they had all of us, and they start reading your name and they give you your orders, right?
Mhm.
And then, so when I got my orders, it fucking said Okinawa.
Oh shit, that was a little
Yeah,
bit too West Coast.
yeah, exactly. So then, yeah, so that was another story. So then he fucking, like, anyway, like, "All right, anybody have any issues with their contract, with the orders and like that? Raise your hand." So I fucking raised my hand.
Yeah,
I was like, "What do you mean fucking Okinawa?"
yeah.
I was like, so they're like, "All right." They're like, "All right, the people that raised their hands, stay back. Everybody else, go back to your class or whatever." And I think a few people stayed back. I don't know for what.
Oh,
I went down. There was a couple of us, like a handful of us. I went and talked to the personnel clerk. I think it's probably one of us, like a O1 or something.
mm,
Had to be, you know.
yeah.
So he goes, "Okay, what's the problem with your orders?" And so he was like, "Well, I'm guaranteed West Coast. It's in my contract." He goes, "What do you mean guaranteed West Coast in your contract?" So I go, "Yeah." I go, "Do you have my book, my contract?" He goes, "Yeah." So he fucking goes, pulls my SRB out, and we're going through it because my recruiter has shown me. He goes, "Look, right here. It says, So then if you flip into the page, I go right there. And he pulls it up and we're looking, he's reading it. He fucking looks at it. He goes, "Oh shit," you know? And so he goes, "All right, hold on." And he goes to fucking, so I'm thinking to myself, like, he goes to talk probably to the personnel chief or the personnel officer or whatever it is.
Uh,
So he's talking to somebody, and obviously they're talking because they're all looking at me. They turn back and they look at me, like how the fuck did this motherfucker get West guaranteed con?
yeah.
fucking PSC, guaranteed West Coast. Like, what the fuck is that? You know, they're probably tripping out that it fucking said that in the contract. You know, they've probably never seen it.
Yeah, I was about to say, yeah, that's probably the first time that they've ever seen verbiage like that in a contract. Wow.
Yeah. So then, so I'm already thinking in my head, like, fuck, I'm gonna have to call my recruiter. Like, where the fuck the card at? You know, I have the card somewhere. You know, and I'm fucking running through scenarios in my head, like, well, maybe Okinawa won't be that bad. You know, maybe I should just go to Okinawa. You know, like, and then like I'm kind of like, nah, fuck that. They Marine Corps, I did my shit. They gotta honor their shit. You know, like.
Yeah.
So I'm just kind of running through scenarios, and sure enough, he comes back, and he's like, "Well, you know, yeah, we made a mistake. You know, are you willing to go to Okinawa?" And I think by that time I was like, "No." I was like, I had made up my mind, like, no, they gotta fucking honor their shit, you know, because I did my part, you know. So then I told him, no, my recruiter said that my if you don't give me West Coast, I can void my contract. And I told him that, and he kind of like just looked at me, and he goes, well, you know, if you go to Okinawa, he's trying to sell me Okinawa, you know, and he's like, you know, you would have to redo your contract to avoid that part out of the contract if you want to go to Okinawa. I'm like, no, I'm good. And he goes back, you know, he's trying to sell me to Okinawa because obviously they don't want to fucking change, you know, they have to fucking do something,
Yeah.
you know?
It's just extra paperwork for them to fucking do.
Yeah, exactly. So then he goes back and they're over there for a while, you know, talking about it. And then so they come back. He comes back. He goes, all right, come back like at 16:30 or something when they're closing, or like an hour before or something like that. He goes, come back later. Like, okay. And he goes, just leave your orders here. Come back and then we'll get it straightened out for you. But unbeknownst to me, so, you know, it goes by, you know, alphabetical order, obviously, Rodriguez. So there was another Rodriguez next to me, and I kind of feel bad, and I never told him, right? But he had gotten orders to Camp Pendleton, okay? And he was happy because he was married, had a kid, and he was like, oh, I'm going to Camp Pendleton, I'm going to be able to take my wife. Bro, I felt bad because they called him back, okay? And he ended up going to Okinawa. They told him they made a mistake on his orders.
Oh, fuck.
And he ended up going to Okinawa. So I know what they did. They fucking just switched us. I felt bad, but, you know, it's like, it wasn't my mistake.
Yeah, it was in your contract. They should, you know, they had to honor it. And the fact that you said that the contract could be void, I'm pretty sure they've never heard anybody pull that before, especially young PFC. As like, fuck, he knows about the loophole.
Yeah, I fucking, you know, pulled the fucking reverse Uno card on him, bro.
That is fucking insane, dude. So this kid ended up going to Okinawa, leaving his wife and kid behind for a year.
I kind of kept in touch with one of the guys from school that kept in touch with him. It worked out because after Okinawa, they put him like at a recruiting center close to his house. He was from like fucking like Texas or something like that. So he ended up going back to Texas after Okinawa.
Oh, good for him. Yeah, it worked out. It was just that year sacrifice. Yeah,
exactly. But you know, I did think about it like, well, maybe Okinawa wouldn't be that bad, you know?
Yeah.
But, you know, it's like, and then I was like, no, fuck that. I did my part. You know, Marine Corps got to honor their part too.
Exactly. They do whatever they have to do with us. You know, that was the least they could do was just honor was to honor your contract.
So yeah, when I fucking told them like, oh no, my recruiter said, hey, you guys got to honor it, or otherwise my contract is void. He was just like, he kind of just looked at me like, I can't even know what to say, you know? Okay, I'll be back.
Henry's story is far from over. We've only scratched the surface of his journey, and there's so much more to uncover. But for now, stay the course, keep moving forward, The best is yet to come.
Hey everyone, I'm here today and I want to talk to you about something that's really important to us, and that's the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. You can reach them by calling or texting 988.
That's right. We want to emphasize how crucial it is to reach out for help if you're struggling with thoughts of suicide or just need someone to talk to. You are not alone. There are people who care about you and want to support you.
Calling 988 or texting can be a difficult but incredibly brave step to take. It takes courage to reach out for help, but it's often the first step towards healing and finding a more positive path forward.
Remember, you are strong, capable, and loved. You have so much to offer the world, and your life is valuable and worth living. If you're struggling, please don't hesitate to reach out. You can call or text 988 anytime, day or night, and speak to a trained crisis counselor who can provide you with support and guidance.
We want to encourage everyone to prioritize their mental health and well-being. You don't have to go through tough times alone. There are people who care about you and want to help.
So let's work together and create a world where everyone can thrive and live their best lives. Remember, 988 is more than just a number. It's a lifeline. Let's use it and support each other every step of the way.